Hello, fellow word lovers. Welcome to Words I Love, where I talk about words I love. I'm Professor Snoozy, and I am so happy you could join us. For those of you who don't know, I make one short video flashcard every day with a word I personally love. Every week, I make this video where I break down each of the word roots. I talk about different parts of speech forms, and then I talk about maybe how often you might hear each one of this week's words. So get ready. We're going to start right up and talk about every one of the words of the week. Abundant, eloquent, implement, lenient, parsimonious, symbolic, and somber. But first, make sure you pay attention to this guy. Subscribe and learn a new word every day. Let's break down the word abundant. Abundant comes directly from Latin, where it's abundantia, and it means overflowing or full. Abundant is an adjective, abundance is a noun, and abundantly is an adverb. We might use the word abundantly quite a bit because we say abundantly clear. Here, clear means understandable. It is abundantly clear that I need to study my words if I want to pass the test. This is a word we use all the time. Let's break down eloquent. Eloquent is also directly from Latin, and the word there would be eloqui, which means to speak out. We have another word that's also very close called elocution. Elocution is how we pronounce our syllables, and you can take a class called elocution class. Maybe you can still take that class. That will teach you how to enunciate your syllables. Eloquent is an adjective, so we use it to modify a noun. Eloquently is the adverb. He speaks eloquently. She speaks eloquently. Eloquence is the noun, so that's the quality of being eloquent. This word we use fairly often. The next word we have to talk about is implement, and there's quite a bit to this one. Implement comes from the Latin implementum, and that means to fill up. Plere means fill, means in. What we're filling up here is a toolkit or a tool bag or a bag of provisions. So implement, the noun, becomes tool. A pair of scissors is an implement. A pocket knife is an implement. Even some more complicated tools are implements. Implement, the verb, means to put a tool into effect. A lot of times, a big city or a state or a big organization will implement a strategy. And in that way, they are calling the strategy a tool, or the idea. We can implement this idea. The idea or the strategy is a tool, and we're going to use it. We're going to put it into effect. So implement there is a verb. Now, implementation is an example of using a known idea or a strategy. You will hear implement all the time. Time to break down the word lenient. Lenient comes directly from Latin, like a lot of other words on this week's list. It means to soften or to calm or to soothe. So that's how it comes to mean close to the same thing in English, where it means maybe relaxed in punishment or more easygoing so that we can feel more comfortable. Lenient is an adjective. Lenience is a noun, and it means a single act of being lenient. So my teacher's lenience helped the class, get more comfortable. Now, leniency is also a noun, which might mean the quality of being lenient. So this teacher was known for his leniency. You will hear the word lenient and the other forms very often. Parsimonious is a word that I definitely love, and it's time to break it down. Parsimonious comes straight from Latin, where it means more frugal or thrifty. These mean that someone is good at spending money properly, that they can get a lot of value for the money that they spend. They don't want to spend money, but they will. They're good at saving money. In English, though, parsimonious goes past that. It goes to a synonym for stingy, which is not a nice thing to say about someone, and it means they won't spend money even sometimes when they have to, keeping themselves cold in the winter or too hot in the summer. They might actually be more in danger from not spending on safety or something like that. Parsimoniousness is the noun, so it's the quality of being parsimonious. And parsimony is another noun that is close to that. But parsimony also has other scientific meanings, and the scientific principle of parsimony would mean that a simple explanation is to be preferred over a more complex explanation. You won't hear this word too often in conversation necessarily, but you will see this word on tests very often. Let's talk about the word symbol. Symbol here is made up of the prefix sim or sin, which is very often used, and it means together. Bal or bowl is a root, and it means throwing. And here, ik is a suffix that makes a noun an adjective. The idea here is that we throw together two things. In this case, an idea with something that we see. So when I see this thing, I think of this idea. A flag is a symbol of a country. Symbol here is a noun, and that's probably the form you will see the most. Symbolic is an adjective, and symbolize is a verb. We use this word, symbol and symbolic and symbolize, all the time. And the final word for this week is somber. Somber comes from an old French word, and the Latin roots of that are sub, which is under, and you will see that a lot, and umbra, which means shadow. So under a shadow, and indeed somber means very still and sad and serious. So a somber, you might have a somber tone in your voice when you're speaking to someone at a funeral. You might have a somber face when there's been a national tragedy. A lot of people died in an earthquake or something horrible like that. So somber is an adjective. Somberly is an adverb. And somberness is a noun. You will hear this word pretty often when we talk about, big sad events, deaths, and big cataclysms and whatnot. You will hear this word very often. Well, that's it for this week's words. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to Words I Love. If you have any questions about any of the words, go ahead and ask me in the comments. Or write a sentence if you want, and I'll look at it, and maybe you can get some points. If you have a favorite word, write it in the comments below, and maybe I'll get to it pretty soon. Today we took a small step, but I want you to remember that loving words is a road, not a destination. We build it brick by brick. We walk it step by step, and we learn it word by word. I'm Professor Snoozy. I'm so happy you could join me. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Learn a new word every day.